YouTubers, this is Bumblebee here. Today we're going to make potting soil through a composting method that I use. I've been making my soil for quite a while, so these wicker beds here are actually full of the soil that I actually make. We've had a frost this morning, so the wheat that I'm actually growing in here is a little bit crispy this morning. I think it's about 2 degrees at the moment, 2 degrees Celsius. And the reason why I'm growing wheat in these beds is because it's winter, and I don't leave my garden beds stripped bare because it's actually quite bad for the soil and you'll lose a lot of nutrients. So I actually grow this, and when I'm ready, what I'll do is I'll turn it all, I'll flip it over, the grass will break down and it'll become mulch for what I'm going to be planting next. So I'll show you the soil. I think I've got some access here to some. Let's dig down. Oh, it's very cold. There we go. Oh, and there's some worms in there as well, see? So this is what I make. Lovely, crumbly soil, really dark in texture, and it holds the moisture quite nicely. So my first stage of composting to make this type of soil is actually done in these composting barrels that I actually buy from a hardware place. So I've got one there at the moment, and actually one over here. This one's full and breaking down, so I just leave that. I water it when it's dry, but it's pretty wet at the moment, so we don't need to do that. So our veggie scraps go in there, and then I put like dry stuff in as well, just to kind of get that carbon going to break it down. If you put too much of your veggie stuff from the kitchen, it'll get sloppy and it'll actually start to smell, so that's a bad sign that your compost is actually stinking. So once this is broken down, I actually put it in I pull the top off, put it in a wheelbarrow, and I bring it over here. This garden bed here, I actually have been putting compost bins in there for a while, and it was pretty poor soil to begin with, and things weren't doing so well, but now, as you can see, this is flourishing because it's been using the nutrients from the compost pile that's been there, and it's become quite a fertile little garden. This is my second stage in my composting. I actually put it underneath the decking, and that's more just because of space. This was just dead space underneath, but if you can actually do it outside, out under where it's not undercover, it's actually good because the rain will get to it, it'll wet it. Unfortunately under here, when it's when we have quite a few dry days, I actually have to water it, which is a bit of a downfall. And to make this, oh actually no, what we'll do is we'll test the temperature. I've got a temperature probe here. I'll just switch it on. It needs to go down in degrees. So what I use to make this up is I get coffee grounds from a cafe once a week. I get 2 of these containers full. These are 20-litre buckets that I get from a hardware store. I don't get any small because, you know, to carry a bit out, so they don't have multiple buckets, but I don't go any bigger because I can't carry anything bigger. So it's more just handiness and being able to contain them. So so I get 2 buckets of these once a week, and I also buy these horse manure bags. These are actually quite good, and I buy them for like $2 each. Kids who have parents who have horses usually do these up for pocket money, and if there's a bigger bag, I actually pay $3 because, you know, it's hard work, and I think good on them for actually, you know, going out there and making some pocket money. So what I do is I actually dump it here, and then I mix it through with my garden fork here, and then I shovel it in. So the degrees are still going down. Anyway, it is around about 2-3 degrees at the moment, so it's fairly cold. So what I'm going to do is I'll actually show you the steam coming off it first. So if I dig down, there we go. There's the steam coming off my compost. So once I get it in under here, I just leave it and let it do its thing. And every time I come down to the garden, I'll give it a little bit of a turnover, not too much, just a few little turnovers such as I did there, just to make sure that it gets aerated. It's still going down. It's not 11 degrees, it's 2 degrees. So at the moment, so what I'll do is I'll actually show you how hot this actually gets by sticking it into the compost pile. I usually do most of my work, well actually no, I work on it 12 months a year, the compost, but I actually do my most work during winter to actually build up my soil. So the deeper and higher that you get it, the more it breaks down. It's actually the center of it that does the most breaking down. To keep these the soil in one spot, I actually use hay bales. What are we up to? 57 degrees. So she's cooking in there. So what I do is I actually use these hay bales, and they break down in the long run anyway, so it's actually really good for the compost. So once these hay bales are broken down and I need to change them, which is, I don't know, I actually haven't changed them just yet, so I'll actually just use it as mulch for the garden. What if I actually need to mulch the garden, and just put in a new one. So so very easy setup, doesn't cost very much. So as I said, I get the coffee grounds once a week. I get around about 40 kilos, 30 to 40 kilos of coffee grounds, which I get for free, and I'll get 1 to 2 bags of the horse manure once a week as well. So that's $2 to $4, maybe $5, depending on the size of the bags, and I mix it together. So $5 a week maximum to make this soil. And I have so many, and I've got about 2, 4, 5 large wicker barrels and 2, 3, 5 small ones, and they're full of soil. I have more soil than I can use, so I actually rotate my soil through. So hope you found that interesting. So we are around about 60 degrees, considering it is actually just outside is just 2 to 3 degrees. It's quite a crispy morning. So I hope you find this interesting. Let me know in the comments what you would like to find out, what you'd like to know, any YouTube ideas. Thank you for your time. I hope this was interesting. Okay, bye.